Well, thank you for joining us. I
So
saw
happy.
Shelby Oaks, great movie.
Oh, thank you.
It was really like, I didn't expect it to be as creepy as it is,
Mm,
but it was nice that it was.
totally. We live for the creep factor.
That's the best part of it. So tell me, how did you kind of get in the mindset for this, mysterious missing woman?
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of research, especially around women who have gone missing. I have a background as a journalist, so I'm a big fan of research and just diving into any sort of information I can find. And just trying to make the circumstances as real as possible. I was, listening to interviews about women who have been taken and what that experience is like and just being so removed from everything in your whole life and what that what that does. And it's sort of incredible how many women are able to just be okay after such incredible circumstances, and the resilience of humanity is pretty crazy. But yeah, and it's in general, like, Riley is just someone I love this character. I love getting to portray her, and that is something she goes through, but it was about building who she was as a person before sort of these uh extraordinary circumstances like happened to her.
Right, right. You hear, I mean, the way it comes across, very authentic, very, believable.
Thank you.
Because I mean, some of the tips of her at the grounds of this place, and she just looking and going, you know, it's just it's beautiful, and that's kind of where it's at.
Oh, thank you so much.
When you were filming this. There's a lot of kind of aspects that seem to be in the dark. I hate to use the word creepy again, but it's like jail, this, but the park and things like that. Did it ever creep out first?
Oh yeah, there's definitely moments where I was creeped out. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the prison. The prison was this. It's where they shot Shawshank Redemption, and it's in Mansfield, Ohio. I grew up in Ohio, and it's a real, very large abandoned prison where they do ghost hunter shows, and they have paranormal investigators come and read their, EKG, and or not EKG, but like the like, their ghost meters and stuff. So it was like a genuinely creepy place. Um, and the first time I shot there, it was just me and Chris and the other paranormal paranoids. And we were just sort of wandering around with this guard who moonlights as a ghost tour guide at the prison. And he's like, oh, this is where they like kept the solitary confinement people. Oh, this is where like the infirmary was. And it was just very creepy. There was a chapel, the chapel, and it has like fraying parts of this like scene of Mary and Jesus at the front. It was a very, and I do believe that like places that have that I don't know, energy can kind of like latch on to places. Like you can sense when there's been an argument in a room, and then you walk into that room and you can kind of sense that energy, even if the people who've like were having that argument or disagreement have left. And I feel like that's true of buildings like that. You just kind of have a sense of the history of these places, and how there was a lot of just sad people there.
Right, I can imagine, and I have seen several videos of people ghost hunting there, and I'm pretty sure I know the exact guide you're talking about. I believe I have seen him before. So yeah, it is a truly, truly just dark place. And
Yeah.
you can imagine that all of the pain and sadness and torment that went there, and that has to leave a scar, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you experience anything while you were there?
I didn't while we were filming, but the most I felt was just like very creeped out and just really like uneasy. And then it's sort of this because my character Riley has an experience when she's at the prison that freaks her out. And so I'm getting freaked out as the character in a very creepy place that is already like has the ability to get you freaked out. So I didn't have an experience. Riley has an experience at the prison, but in portraying her, I sort of like, you're sort of experiencing everything alongside your character. So I guess I sort of had an experience as Riley.
Right, right. Well, that works. Yeah. I mean, and there are so many powerful aspects of this film. I mean, the relationship between the sisters, this hunt for Riley, trying to find her, and the desperation, and nobody doing anything. And it's got some really serious moments. And then there's that scene of you in the basement. That I don't know what I don't know how to explain what it did, but it made my heart sink as soon as I saw it. And I know this
Mm.
is going to sound strange, and I know it was probably just makeup, but you look different down there. Like you had, I don't know, lost weight or something. I mean, you looked pitiful. No
No,
offense.
yeah. Yeah, no, she's not in good shape when when she's when she's found. And yeah, it was a lot of it was hard. It's a hard thing to step in and out of. And I worked with my acting coach because I still wanted to enjoy the process of making this movie, but Riley goes through such a dark, horrible thing. So it was something I worked on of like keeping kind of like stepping into that space, but also being able to step away from it and knowing that I can do that while on set. Because there's a lot of starting and stopping on set. You're not just like fully in the character all the time because you're like doing the scene and then they need to fix the light. Yeah. Yeah. Even just thinking about it, I'm like getting jittery. It was just like, yeah, it's intense stuff.
It really is. It really is. And then of course it takes an even darker tone, but I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. I will just say that I did not see that ending coming.
I
That was
didn't
just,
either.
and I'm pretty good at guessing those things now. But it's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ending, Riley's, that's something so the film premiered last year at Fantasia Festival in Montreal, and Riley had a different ending then, and now she has a new ending. The what ultimately ends up happening is the same, but how we get there is a little different.
I got you. I got you. And I mean, when you're doing, roles like these, and I mean, what are you like, saying to yourself in your head? What are you doing to get through this process?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what I referenced earlier, like working with my acting coach. And because my favorite place is to be on a film set, you're this weird little family for 30 days and you're making something happen out of nothing. And, so many people are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And it's just a really fun time. I love it. And being able to still enjoy the process while also having this really intense thing. And that was part of, taking care of myself is like making sure I could leave this at work and not bring it with me home. And I was actually staying with my family because my family lives where we were shooting. So being able to like leave the dark things in the dark places on the film set and then like step out of that. I'm not somebody who likes to stay in character the whole time. Like I need to give myself the break and like touch that and then come out of it. And that's how I kind of protect myself through some very intense moments.
Right. So tell me this. If you had to describe this film to somebody who had never heard anything about it, what 5 words would you say?
The love between sisters.
Good choice. And I mean, is this, are you kind of a horror fan anyway, or was this kind of like a departure for you?
Oh yeah, I very much so. And it was fun too because growing up in, we shot this movie in Ohio. I'm from Ohio. Chris is the director, writer of the film. He's from Ohio. And Ohio's a creepy place. Like I feel like, you said you're in Georgia. Like I feel like there's a lot of these sort of places of America that are somewhat forgotten. Like, the Midwest is considered like flyover country. And with that comes a lot of strange stories. And I had actually, like, growing up, a map of haunted Ohio, and it had like all these different, like it had a little symbol for like UFO sightings that had been in Ohio, or like a little Bigfoot symbol, and like where those sightings happened on my map. And like it had like a list of haunted places in Ohio. And so I've always been into ghost stories and horror films, and growing up especially in Ohio, I feel like that setting and that place like really informed my love of horror films and horror stories. And I'm always, like, if somebody tells me they have like a ghost experience, I'm like, tell me. Like I love hearing about all of that.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I have one, but actually I have two, but yeah, they are definitely some creepy places because I'm in rural Georgia, and I'm like, now I'm 2.5 hours from Atlanta, 2.5 to Savannah. So I'm like smack dab in the middle, and there are so many creepy things. Like, if you like haunted hospitals, I used to live less than a mile from Central State Hospital, and that
Wow.
place is creepy.
Is
I mean,
it
yeah,
is it still functioning, or is it abandoned, or?
part of it still does, but I mean, this thing was gigantic. It was the first real mental asylum in the Georgia. So yeah, it was
Oh wow.
creepy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
especially now that it's starting, kind of dilapidated in places and falling apart, and it's just like even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's something, especially with those big grand buildings that are from like, the early 1900s, and then you see them kind of fall apart. And there's something just sad about that. And I don't know, I'm always wondering, like, what is it about abandoned places that makes it feel more creepy? I just think the idea of like time passing, and like time is something that we, are constantly fighting against, I feel like, as people, and trying to like sort of ignore the fact that time passes. And then when you're confronted with it in an abandoned building where you can't ignore it, I don't know, it's like all the New Year's Eves rolled up into one, or like all the birthdays rolled up into one, all those kind of moments that make you think about the passage of time. And then when you see like a building that's on, where it's just like, obviously this hasn't been touched in decades, it makes you feel sad.
Yeah, and it's definitely they're dangerous places usually. So there's that
Yeah.
too. Because I
Yeah.
mean, you have to
Yeah.
worry about where you step, what might be lingering in the air if it's some,
Yeah.
kind of funkiness.
Yeah, like lead paint and asbestos, all the creepy stuff. There's like real things to be creeped out by, by like going to an abandoned building. No, don't do it at home, kids.
Yeah, it's like the woman's house in the movie. It's covered in mildew and mold, and I'm like, kind of, you know, step back 'cause it's just gross. But
Yeah.
it's very makes it even more disturbing.
Yeah, and the idea that somebody's living in a somewhat abandoned place and that's their home, there's something really disconcerting about that, where like it's clearly not an okay place for an elderly woman to be. And And that's even sad, like a forgotten elderly woman. And so many, like, I mean, that's a thing as women get older. You sort of can often feel forgotten by society. And yeah, no, there's lots of creepy elements to abandoned places. And then, like, having someone living in an abandoned place just feels even sadder and stranger.
And like I said, I was really impressed by Riley. The way that fear. I mean, it's there's some scenes in horror movies where people act scared, and you're just like, it's like whatever. But there's just several scenes in the film, like this one where it's like the little clip of you, and you're looking back, and it's just it's powerful and believable. It's almost like, well, damn, if she's that scared, not be, you know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
It
fear is a
really,
hard thing to portray because it's so like like not even really an emotion. It's something like even baser than an emotion. So touching that, and I'm so glad it felt real to you because you're the expert.
yeah, I should be a little bit jaded. Well, I am a bit jaded, so that's the thing that made it surprising, and I really like the way that the movie played out. It kept that tension from the beginning, the moment you see that tape to the end is it's just you're kind of on the edge of your seat and you're waiting and then you think, oh, I was gonna have a good ending. Oh, great. No, no, no. It's not gonna end
Yeah.
well.
No, Chris was really smart with the pacing of this movie. And because a lot of it feels almost like a true crime, murder mystery, missing person mystery story. And I feel like that element really like drives the movie in a really, like I wasn't expecting that. Like the first time I watched it, I was like, will I be scared? Or like, I know what's happening, so maybe I won't be. But then I just got so drawn into the story because I think mysteries are so compelling. And, there's a reason like people love true crime. It's like there's something really that makes you sort of want to find out what's happened when you don't know. When that unknown is so real. And so, like, it's such a clear story. And when someone goes missing, so you try to find that person.
Right, right. And today the new missing posters were released. They're creepy. I mean, they look pretty brutal.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I mean,
definitely. Yeah.
everything in this movie just wants to punch you in the stomach. You know what I mean? But in a good
Yeah.
way. But in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah.
But it's amazing, and I can't wait till everybody sees it, and I can actually talk about the ending in detail without spoiling it for anyone. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
Oh, thank you. That means so much coming from, someone who's such an expert on the genre.
I don't know about expert, but one thing I am is a true horror fan. So
Yeah.
I love them. One makes me feel something other than yawning or fast forward through scenes. It's a great thing. It's great.
Oh,
So yeah. And this one definitely gets under your skin, especially if you have a sister. And I happen to have one.
yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think that's really a smart thing Chris does because, there's a lot of elements of horror movies where you're like, why are you going into the abandoned prison? Like, clearly that's a wrong move. But when you're doing it because you think someone you love is that it harms risk and you have to do it to save someone you love, that starts to make a lot more sense, I feel like, which I think is really smart in how he does that.
right. I agree. I agree. Like I said, I think the movie was well done. I was a bit taken back and surprised, and the ending definitely caught me off guard, but in the best possible way.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
So it's it's going to do well, I think. And, like I said, I can't wait to talk to everybody about it. And hopefully they agree.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But, it's another thing it made me think about is that, all those missing people that end up getting forgotten, that nobody puts up an effort to find. I thought about that a lot after I watched it. You
Yeah.
know, how many people are out there that could still be alive that nobody's bothered to look for?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a very real thing. And it's obviously this is a horror film, so there's like supernatural elements attached to that, but the heart of it is something really real and really scary. And, in researching these women, it's so horrible, and it's so just takes the rug out from under you as a person to think of somebody being taken and then everyone sort of giving up on that person. It's heartbreaking.